So you're looking to get ahead, right? To really understand something complex, but without spending ages just wading through stuff.
Yeah, that's kind of the goal here, a shortcut to those aha moments.
Exactly. And today we're diving into something loads of people grapple with, actually getting confident speaking English.
And what's great about this deep dive is we're looking at a real story, not just theory.
Right.
It's the journey of this guy, Thasanthan. He shared it all on his YouTube channel, just called Thasanthan. The video's Struggling with English, what finally worked for me to speak confidently.
Perfect. So our mission today isn't just, telling his story. It's about pulling out those key insights.
The actionable stuff.
Yeah, actionable strategies, maybe some surprising bits that you listening can actually use for your own English learning wherever you're starting from.
Okay, so let's rewind. Thasanthan's background, it's pretty different from what many might ask now. He called himself a 2003 born kid. What were those first big hurdles?
Well, right off the bat, he talks about just not having an English-speaking community around him, like day to day, not at home, not locally. It's easy to forget that's still the case for a lot of people, even now with everything so connected.
Absolutely. And on top of that lack of just hearing it naturally, there was the internet access issue.
Right.
It wasn't like today, always on, super fast, think maybe dial-up, shared computers.
Oh, yeah.
So, actively looking for learning stuff online, that took real effort.
Which kind of explains why the usual advice if you think, take English classes, watch movies, read books, why that didn't really land for him at first. He seemed pretty frustrated.
Yeah, and he explains why.
Yeah.
Like the movies, okay, he watched English movies, but he just couldn't follow them properly.
Not enough to learn from or even enjoy, maybe.
Exactly. So he'd end up watching the Tamil dubbed versions instead, which makes sense.
Yep.
But it shows that just passively consuming stuff way above your level, probably not the best place to start.
And the books, same problem, different format. He said they were boring because they were just too difficult.
Yeah, a total slog. Like you said, it's hard to stay motivated when you're constantly just struggling.
Sounds like he almost just gave up on English altogether at that point.
He pretty much did. He felt like, this isn't the skill I'm actually going to need. But then things changed big time.
The turning point. What happened?
He landed a job, a web developer role at a U.S.-based startup.
Okay.
And the key thing, everyone else, native English speakers, and they didn't speak his native language, Tamil, at all.
Wow. Talk about being thrown on the deep end. Real pressure cooker situation.
Total forced immersion. He had the tech skills, the coding chops, but that communication piece, missing.
That must have been a massive wake-up call.
Oh, absolutely. He says it explicitly. He realized English wasn't just like a bonus skill. It was essential if he wanted to grow in his career.
And no fallback language in that specific environment.
None. So necessity really kicked in. He had to learn.
So, okay, he's in this intense situation. What actually started to work? What were the first steps that made a difference?
Well, the first thing was surprisingly basic, which I think is a lesson in itself. He just started small. Simple English chats with friends.
Like what? Just greetings?
Yeah, like, hey, bro, good morning. Stuff like that. Just building that baseline comfort with using the language, even for really simple things.
It seems almost too simple, but maybe that's the point. Don't try to run before you can walk.
Precisely. Build that foundation. Then something else he tried, which is interesting. He started making English videos.
Okay, like for YouTube?
Not initially, no. The goal wasn't building an audience. It was purely for himself, to practice speaking out loud.
Like self-correction. Record watch back.
Kind of, yeah. But he admits it was really hard. He felt demotivated, even embarrassed sometimes because, he wasn't fluent on camera.
Oh, I can imagine. Putting yourself out there like that when you're learning, that takes guts. That self-consciousness is real for a lot of learners.
Totally. It's not just about grammar rules. It's emotional, too. Facing that fear of messing up.
But he kept going with the videos.
He did. And then another shift happened, this time in what he was consuming.
His media diet. You mentioned that. What changed?
So instead of just default entertainment in Tamil, he started actively choosing English content. But specifically, stuff related to his interests.
Right.
Motivation, business, programming, marketing, things he was already interested in. He still watched Tamil stuff for fun, but for learning, he switched to English in those areas.
That makes sense. Tapping into existing interests.
And he noticed a real difference. He talks about picking up vocabulary, getting a better feel for the tone, the style of the language.
So interesting, like the rhythm and flow.
Yeah, even mentioning he started using filler words like so less often. It shows how targeted input, stuff you actually care about, can really fuel your output.
Okay, so consuming relevant content helped. Then he mentioned something about practicing scripts. He found that really powerful.
Yes, this was a big one for him. He tells this story about prepping for a pitch for a startup accelerator event.
High stakes again.
Definitely. He spent 10 days, intensively rehearsing this pitch script. It was for an event with the Sri Lankan startup community, Hatchworks he mentioned.
So a real English-speaking professional environment, his first big exposure.
That's what he says, yeah. And the key takeaway he pushes is how effective that focused script practice was. Preparing for specific situations you know you'll face.
10 days on one pitch, that's serious dedication.
It shows commitment, right. And he does recommend script practice highly, but with a little caveat.
Oh.
Just acknowledging it might not be the magic bullet for everyone, different strokes for different folks, find what works for you.
That's fair. And he actually points people to the video of that old pitch.
Yeah, on his Instagram and YouTube. It's like, look, here's where I was. It really shows the progress, which is kind of cool. Tangible proof.
So beyond that one big pitch, did other real-world needs drive him?
Absolutely. Pitching actual clients.
Yeah.
When your business, your income, depends on communicating clearly.
The motivation gets very real, very fast.
Exactly. That direct link between his English skills and, getting work, closing deals, that provides a powerful built-in reason to keep improving vocabulary and speaking smoothly.
It wasn't just learning for learning's sake anymore.
No, it had real, tangible results tied to it.
Okay, so through all this, the immersion, the videos, the scripts, the client work, there's a thread he keeps coming back to, which feels super important.
Let me guess. Consistency.
You got it. Consistency over perfection.
Yes, that's like the golden rule for learning almost anything, isn't it? He consciously decided, okay, I'm just going to practice regularly, even if I'm not perfect.
And the Monday English videos were part of that.
Totally. He committed to doing them every week, no matter what. Whether it was hard, whether people criticized, just keep showing up.
Like building a muscle. Small, regular workouts add up over time.
Precisely. That consistent effort was clearly a massive factor in his improvement.
Now, he also talked about why he shifted his content more towards English, moving away from primarily Tamil content. What was his thinking there?
It seemed pretty straightforward, really. Two main reasons. First, his own personal need to keep practicing and improving his English.
Makes sense. Use it or lose it.
Right. And second, he wanted to kind of encourage his Tamil-speaking audience to show them, hey, learning English opens up more doors, connects you globally.
So it's sort of paying it forward and maybe heading off criticism about abandoning his original audience.
Yeah, I think so. It's about expanding opportunities for himself and potentially for his viewers, too.
Okay, so let's try and distill this down. For someone listening right now wanting to improve their English, what are the core actionable lessons from Faizentin's journey?
Okay, takeaway number one, start small, don't overwhelm yourself. Simple greetings, basic chats, build from there.
Got it. What's next?
Find what works for you. Experiment. Traditional classes didn't work for him initially, but videos and scripts did. Maybe for someone else, it's language exchange apps or reading graphic novels. You got to explore.
Right. Be your own learning detective. And he also made a point about communication versus grammar, especially early on.
Huge point. Focus on getting your message across first. Don't let the fear of making grammatical mistakes paralyze you.
The grammar will come with practice.
Exactly. You absorb a lot just by using the language, by communicating. Then, number 4, be consistent.
The big one.
Yeah. Short, regular practice beats long, infrequent cramming sessions every single time. Show up regularly.
Okay, and the last main one.
Step outside your comfort zone. His story really highlights this. English is for connecting with people. You actually have to, interact to get better and build real confidence.
You can't just learn it in a vacuum.
Nope. And maybe the overarching message tying it all together is you don't have to be perfect to start. Just start.
That fear of not being good enough stops so many people.
It really does. But his progress shows that taking action, even imperfect action, is what leads to improvement. Not waiting until you feel perfectly ready, because that day might never come.
That's powerful stuff. So as you're listening, maybe think about which parts of Faizentin's experience ring true for you. What's one small, consistent thing you could commit to?
Yeah, and while we don't have a comment section here, think of this discussion as maybe a prompt to look for those online English learning communities. There are tons of supportive groups out there.
Absolutely. Find your people.
So Faizentin's journey really drives home that, getting good at English is possible. It takes consistent work, focusing on actually communicating, and being brave enough to push your boundaries, even when it feels tough at first.
Definitely. Okay, final thought to leave everyone with, building on all this. Given Thayzenton's focus on communication over perfect grammar, what's one small step, maybe something that feels just a little bit uncomfortable, that you could take today to practice actually speaking?
Good question to ponder.
Well, thanks for taking this deep dive with us today. We really hope hearing about Thayzenton's experience gives you some practical ideas and maybe a bit of inspiration for your own language journey.